Bitcoin buyers step in, but can they defend against the bearish assault? Should Libra be backed by gold? And what is up with the FATF regulation on crypto exchanges? All this and more in today's exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin. Welcome to Breaking Bitcoin, recorded live for you Friday, June 28th, 2019, your daily source for market updates, sentiment, and news for professional traders. My name is Justin Wise, lead analyst and senior mentor at crackingcryptocurrency.com. Hopefully you guys are doing absolutely fantastic wherever you happen to be tuning in from, and whether you're watching us from across YouTube, Twitch, DLive, Facebook Live, or on Roku at the Investor News channel. Shout out to everybody. If you want to support the show, make sure to subscribe, follow, share, and engage in the live chat. And of course, today's episode of Breaking Bitcoin is brought to you by the Premium Trading Group. If you are an aspiring trader or an experienced trader looking for something better, looking for something that works in all market conditions, the Cracking Cryptocurrency Premium Trading Group can do its best to help you reach your full potential. Education focuses on risk management, technical strategy, capital preservation and growth, statistical analysis, automation, and lifestyle coaching, as well as providing reliable signals and setups for beginners and seasoned traders as well. However you feel about trading, our community is a powerful resource for support, community growth and engagement, as well as motivation, and just to have a place to measure your ideas against and get somebody that is there right alongside you in the trenches. To get started today, you can visit premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com. That's premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com. All right. We have a fantastic show for you guys today. We're going to talk about the recent price action of Bitcoin. We're going to talk about the baseline bounce. We're going to look at price action. We're also going to look and see what our indicators are doing because it has been a day. We'll see if they've reset at all. A few updates before we begin. I did just upload the next video for the Pathways to Profit strategy building course. It is live in the Pathways to Profit Drive for all the Premium Plus and above members. That video is on optimizing and expanding our initiator backtesting. That is our primary tool against the market. That is the video breaks down exactly what steps we need to take to further stress test our initiator and get a much larger pool of data to run our statistical analysis on, so that when we move later into the later modules, which again, one is already live on the next filter to apply to our trading strategy, we have a real good data set of winners, losers, percent profitability, win-loss ratio, and all the other statistics that we compile and go over in the Pathways to Profit methodology. So that's available. I would like you guys to go check that out. If you are in the group, make sure that you follow that video to a T and you'll do quite well. Remember, it's not just the tools, it is the rules. So I want to thank the current Discord boosters. If you guys want to support our Discord server and you have Discord Nitro, you guys can go over and boost our server. You'll get a special role in the Discord for doing so, and we highly appreciate the support. And of course, yesterday's crypto comment giveaway winner was Darren Garish. I got a hold of you in the Discord after you got a hold of me, and I believe you now have some crypto. So we're going to start off today's show, as we always do, by gifting some crypto, right? So how are you guys doing in the chat? Let me take a quick scroll here. What's going on? I see Mr. Hut QC, Blockchain Gains, Phoenix Flames, Safu Mafu, Nick M, Esmalal. Good to see you, Esmalal. All right. Good going. Good day. Good times in the market. Hopefully you guys are doing absolutely fantastic, as well as your position. So let me slide on over here to Video Manager. Let me put the chat somewhere more appropriate, and we will go give away some crypto as we do. And I want to give a shout out to Christopher Palmer, Core Max, Issy Bowl, Powder Monkey 99, and Alex Cabrera. Thank you so much for the subs on YouTube. And of course, T Post in Haas. Thank you so much for the follow over there on Twitch, man, and joining the community. Highly appreciate it, man. So yesterday's video was the Bitcoin crashing, what you need to know, and the saga of Chainlink. So let's go on over here to here. All right, cool. So we will copy the URL from yesterday's video. We will choose a video, and we will slap that baby in there. We've got 20 unique winners. I bet there must be a spam bot in there. No spam bot, all real people. Oh, you guys are absolutely fantastic, man. We've got some great We've got some great people over there. So congratulations to the future winner, and ding, 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 ding. You are a completely different YouTuber. Keep it up. Thank you so much, Ankit Dhanraj. I know that you have been commenting for a while, so shout out to you, my good friend. Get a hold of me in the Discord at JustinWise5696, and I will gift you some crypto via PandaBot. All right. Thank you so much, guys, for participating. If you guys would like to receive some crypto, just leave a comment on the YouTube video when you're done. It has to be an actual unique comment. Don't just say, yo. Otherwise, I will probably filter you out. All right, guys. So let's get over to the price of Bitcoin. Okay. Starting off with our Bitcoin USD analysis, we will break open the chart of Bitstamp as we do our long-term analysis on. And let's talk about a few things. The first thing that I want to do is let's get rid of this. Let's auto everything out. And let's get rid of Quadriga ATR just for the purposes of looking at what we're, just for the purposes of seeing what we're looking at here. So obviously we had a significant move to the downside yesterday, a very large, girthy, powerful candle, 13.67% from open to close. However, from the high to the low was about 23%. It was about a 23% correction all told. Okay, again, this was a movement we were short on. It was a movement we were short on in the group. We talked about that yesterday. And now, updates. So the trade is already profitable, right? So I haven't entered into a long, just so you guys are fully aware of that. I have not entered into a full risk long position utilizing leverage on ByBit or BitMEX or Deribit, regardless. I'm still actually in my short position. I still am sitting in Bitcoin spot. Okay, so all I've done is add in this particular movement to my USD value and my BTC value. Now, my USD value obviously is not as high as it was up here. However, I want to point out that there's very few things that could happen that would make my USD value take a significant hit, right? Price would have to put in one or two more of these style candles, which would be rare because I entered Bitcoin here. So I will exit Bitcoin as far as going into USD or sitting flat or 1x shorting my entire position and hedging up and preserving my USD value when price closes below the baseline, as I do, as we all do. And that is the way to do things. So all told, if we do close anywhere, however you want to play it, that would be a 20 to 25% appreciation of my total trading equity by the time all is said and done, which is good, on top of the trading gains that I've made over the same point in time. And it is that consistent approach, it is that strategical approach that has allowed me to be a professional trader for quite a while. Let's see here. Brah. Amasita, what's going on, man? Ken D says, I need to find a stable trading platform, please, not Coinbase, Robinhood, or ByBit. I don't know what you want, man. You literally just listed the best cryptocurrency exchanges. Now, if it's not, if you say, so you said trading platform, so what you trade through, okay? So I would recommend trading on 3 commas. That's what I trade through. I think ByBit's platform is quite nice, actually. So I'm not exactly sure what you want. And I don't really know what you mean by stable. I mean, insofar as I understand what stable means, but I have not had any stability problems with Coinbase. All right, so let's take a look at what price is doing. We are still above the baseline. Minx is still above the 0 line. Wadatar Explosion is telling you to take no position, no trade, even with sped up settings. Remember that when Wadatar Explosion is printing columns beneath the explosion level, when Wadatar is printing bars, columns beneath the explosion level, that is a signal to you as a trader to do nothing with your position, to not put on new positions, because there is not enough volume in the market. There is not enough historical volume related against historical volatility to justify putting on a position. So Wadatar measures momentum, which is a proxy for volume, okay? Now, momentum is independent of volume, but only in the way that it is displayed physically, okay? So you cannot often have large momentum without volume. And when you do, when you have a lot of momentum without volume, it's usually an insignificant movement in the market, which you should not base your trades off of. So when you have volume and momentum, that is what we are looking for as traders, because often that is exactly what happens to begin a trend. When there is momentum, i.e. price moved fairly significantly from here to here, and there was a lot of volume behind that, meaning there was a lot of coins transacted. It means a lot of individuals are now in established positions, and due to the herding effect, we should see continued appreciation of that price. AK, thank you so much for the cheer, my good friend. How you doing, my brother? Hopefully you're killing it over there on Twitch today. Me6 only coming a little bit behind now. Thank you so much, Me6. And Link hitting something right there. Link hitting our first take profit target for everybody in the group, so congratulations and shout out to you guys. All right, getting back to Bitcoin here. And let me actually scroll down. Yes, Coinbase was down, and that is one of the few times they've ever been down. So 3 commas has, again, I really think you guys are super overreacting. We don't have the most perfect thing in the world. Nothing is ever perfect. Yes, Coinbase was down yesterday, but Coinbase is legitimately the most secure exchange that you could possibly trade on if you're in the United States. Also, this whole idea of like things being down, yeah, it doesn't often happen. Does not often happen. And 3 commas, that is the first time I've ever traded on 3 commas where their maintenance obstructed me from trading when I wanted to trade. So. Right. So I don't think that an exchange being down one time this year is unstable. I really don't. I think you guys, I really just think that this is like yesterday was crazy. Like yesterday was insane. And there were issues across a large portion of the space. So I think that I think that a lot of people are probably looking back at me like, oh, and it's kind of a subjective thing. This thing happened to suck on the day that I really wanted to use it. So therefore I hate it for all time. That's kind of how my dad is, right? Like, you know, there are objectively okay services, but he just happened to go to an auto repair store on the day that he really needed his tires changed. And the mechanic was a dick just on that one day, because maybe he could have gone there any other day and gotten fantastic service, but just on that one day, like, he was inconvenienced. So now he has a bias against that exchange for the rest of his time. So again, I would recommend that individuals look at historical data, just as with developing a trading system. As far as stability, I mean, really, like, we could sit here and argue semantics, but as far as like choosing an exchange to trade on, if you're in the United States, you're not going to get something better than Coinbase, Binance, Bittrex, Wabi Pro. I mean, there is literally very little difference between all of them. It is what it is. And I trade every single day, and I'm able to trade every single day. There hasn't been a single day this year that I haven't been able to trade. So Coinbase does have stop loss orders. But they only have stop loss limit orders. So if you use 3 commas, you can have all your advanced order features. So I don't trade on any native platform for spot cryptocurrency, because every spot exchange does not have very good order features. 3 commas allows you to use all those advanced order features on any exchange that you want. Wabi Pro, Bittrex, Binance, Coinbase. Yeah, you can never have a second attempt at a first impression. You're darn right, man. Real Dark Phoenix, thank you so much for joining the community over there on Twitch, my good friend. All right, so anyways, our indicators are telling us to stay out of the market right now. So I didn't take a long position to the upside. I'm still sitting in my short position. It is my bias that this movement will fail. Keep in mind that is my subjective interpretation of price action. I think that this is a natural upthrust from the baseline. And again, any trader in the group, because I know a lot of guys did, I know a lot of guys took the reversal trade off the baseline. They closed out their short in great profit, like an 18, 20% profit, as they should. Whenever you get a massive candle like that, you always want to make sure that you take some profit off of the table, move your stop loss to break even, and ensure a profitable trade. You never want to look a gift horse in the mouth, and it doesn't matter if something runs up another 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90%. It is more rare that it does that, then something moves dramatically in one direction and has an immediate reaction in the opposite direction. So when you get a big, massive movement, especially in Bitcoin, when it drops 20%, you often get a day or two of it listing lazily up. And then we're going to see, and then we will see which way the trend will establish. Now, obviously, when we close below the baseline, that will be establishing a bearish trend, and we will be 1x short, or we will be sitting in fiat, because there is no reason to be holding a depreciating asset, right? This is not the channel that you're going to come to, and I'm going to tell you what price you should buy Bitcoin and what price you should sell it at. I mean, I do that in the group, and I do that as a trader. So again, I guess that I actually just was not, that didn't make a whole lot of sense, because that's exactly what I do. I guess what I really mean is this is not where you're going to come for direct investment advice, okay? If you want to hold Bitcoin as an investment, as I do, again, I invest 20% of my monthly income every single month into long-term investments. And those long-term investments include things like cryptocurrency. They include things like precious metals. They include foreign currencies. They include stocks and bonds, real estate, and franchises that I'm involved in. So I have a diversified portfolio, and I have applied 20% of my monthly income since I was a teenager to my investments. I started collecting gold when I was a teenager. The last investment that I significantly pushed myself into was physical palladium. I believe in holding physical precious metals. So anyways, we do have a couple positive things going here. And actually, I did want to point out, obviously, RVGI signaling the exit system. And of course, MINX, our sensitive stop loss, as issuing the exit your long position as well. So if you were holding any long position, I believe that now is a good time to take profit. Of course, it would have been unfortunate for you taking profit at the end of this candle. But had you bought in when you should have, you're still in good profits, taking your profit there. So 36% profit is nothing to sneeze at. And again, I know that this is just cryptocurrency, and a lot of you guys are like young and inexperienced, and that's totally fine. I know a lot of you are seasoned and experienced as well. But a lot of people just feel like if they don't sell somewhere near the top, they suck as a trader, and you're ludicrous. Like, you're absolutely ridiculous. Because you can't predict moments like this in the market. I mean, obviously, we were short on this position because there was a good reason and a good inkling that happened. But if you didn't take the short position, or if you didn't sell your long position until it was down here, or if you're just considering selling it now, you're still an okay trader. It doesn't mean you suck, man. Like, the only thing that determines whether you're a good trader or not is your statistical odds over time, right? So nobody can tell you that you're good or bad based on the decisions of any one trade. And this is what, again, I feel like I say this all the time, but it's so important for people to get it, man. Like, it doesn't matter what happens with one position. Like, it literally doesn't matter. I have losses all the time, okay? I have winners all the time. Okay. And some in varying degrees than others. Some are different position sizes. Some hit higher percentage differences, right? But the reason why I'm able to be a profitable trader over time is because I absolutely give little or zero, I care 0% about when I put on a trade, if it hits profit target or if it hits the stop loss. I do not care, right? I don't care. It doesn't matter, right? So there have been times, and this happened, you can ask anybody in the group. I'll put on a trade, and then in 5 seconds, we've hit a stop loss. I mean, it doesn't happen all the time. That like almost never happens, but it's happened to me before. And it doesn't matter. Like, who cares? Because that'll happen to people and like, oh my God, I can't believe I had a stop loss. Well, if you position size appropriately, it shouldn't really matter. Okay, you lost a little bit of your account, but that's okay. Like, we're going to just continue entering into positions, and it's going to average out over time, and you're going to make money. But people have this idea that what trading is nailing an entry, nailing an exit, like monitoring, being subjective, using like such no. Trading is methodical, robotic, automatic, data-based, analyzing statistics, and reviewing the results of your performance at the end of the year, right? Or at the end of the month, or at the end of the quarter, so that you can make small adjustments to your trading strategy because you've already put in a buttload of work designing the system that you're trading in the first place. If you do not have a fully fleshed out strategy of entry, exit, take profit, stop loss, position sizing, you should not be trading live money in the market. You're going to get into trouble. Thank you so much, Guarav. How can I add your indicators in TradingView? you just go to indicators.crackingcryptocurrency.com. You can add them to your favorite list, or you can just pull up this indicator tab right here, and you can just search for cracking, and they'll all pop up right here, man. Okay, so what are my thoughts on the current market cycle? I actually am biased to think that this movement will likely fail. I think that this is a reactionary bounce off the baseline as we were expecting to see. Hyun Woo Lee, thank you so much for the $1 donation through the super chat, my good friend. And whoa, that's a lot of digits. But Cav Z, thank you so much for the YouTube subscription, my good man. So I do think that this movement is likely to fail. I do feel good sitting in my short position. Again, I've already taken a little bit of profit on it. And if we close above my stop loss, that's okay. Because remember, the short is not necessarily there. I've already established profit on it. So the short is not necessarily there to generate as much profit, although it could be that if prices just continue to dump down, then it would be a profit-generating movement. It's also there for the purposes of protecting the USD value of my account, okay? Because when you take a full risk trade, it's often going to be a sizable portion of your account. Well, I don't know if Novogratz sold on an exchange. He most likely did that OTC. Bitcoin doesn't seem to care. Well, I would say that Bitcoin did care. I mean, it sold off here, and it is natural to get a reaction off the baseline. It almost always happens. Every time we hit the baseline, it is the reversion to the mean. But we're going to see if we actually continue on with our bullish trend. But again, I still do feel extremely strongly about what I said yesterday. What the most likely thing to do is after a movement like this. So I want to be very, very clear about this. A 20% correction, almost a 25% correction in Bitcoin, that's not like these movements right here. And as we can see, even on this one right here, what happened? We had about almost a month of overall consolidation, right? So this candle happened on the 17th of May, and we didn't really start booting up for another huge run up until the 12th of June. So I do think that overall we're going to range trade here for about a month. That's typically what happens. And we can just return to a previous example as well. Here was the other movement that I was short on as well back here on the 24th of February. So right toward the end of February, we had a bullish run up, a massive correction, and then we consolidated for about a month before another bullish run up, right? So every time we get a pretty huge volatile candle, I mean, we do range trade and there is profit to be made, but overall we consolidate for quite a while. And that's usually when we turn our eye to other markets, you know? It's usually when we turn our eye to other markets. So that is what I am anticipating here. I am anticipating a lot of chop. I am anticipating a lot of upside, downside. I don't really expect us to retest these highs unless we establish a bullish trend. I don't think that we're going to upthrust and grab liquidity above there. I really, really doubt that's going to happen. It could happen, but I do doubt it, and I'm not banking on it whatsoever. I do think that we end up seeing a little bit more downside before we see upside, but either way, I would expect chop and continuation. Now we'll just see, because the indicators tell all. That is just my subjective interpretation. I will do exactly what my indicators tell me to do. If we start running and the indicators signal along, I'm going to take along. That's just it, man. That's just it. Go, Link. All right, hold on. That was my first take profit on Link. I just need to adjust my stop loss. Okay. About 15% so far on that trade. Entered right here on the close of this long signal. You guys can see Link BTC. This was a trade that we posted last night in the premium trading group. Volume confirmed, volume oscillator confirmed, Wadatar explosion confirmed, and of course the long signal from Minx itself. And good trade. So take profit one, guys. If you're in the group, make sure to move your stop loss to break even. You guys know the drill, blah, blah, blah. Just a regular day. Okay, so Bitcoin pair is running up a little bit. I did put on a couple discretionary reversal trades last night based off of futures expiration. So obviously the M19 the M19 contracts expired this morning, guys. So the U19 contracts, if you're trading on BitMEX, are the only futures contracts that you can take out now for futures expiry on altcoins. Now, obviously, Bitcoin got it further out. But the point is, all your futures positions for altcoins on BitMEX are now going to be on the U19 contract. So I took out some longs. It is not Doznal. It is not. Indicator access is maintained for as long as you are a subscriber. We have considered selling separate licenses for our indicators, but we're pretty busy on our strategy building and our mentoring right now, so it's just not something that we're working too hard on. Is fleshing out a business model for that. Vishal, please suggest about some arbitrage opportunity. I couldn't. I mean, I could. I mean, if I really broke it down, I've worked with arbitraging bots, and I've worked with arbitrage traders in the past, but that's not what I do, man. That is not my primary source of income. I trade in highly liquid markets, or sometimes illiquid markets. It just depends on the signal and capital, really. Depends on a few things. When you're looking at a low liquidity market, you kind of have to look at the order book's always going to be deceitful, but the order book is just something in general good to look at, so you can get a good idea for what kind of slippage you might incur in the market. But you do have to take certain capital restrictions into account when you're trading low liquidity coins. We went over that in last week's VIP AMA. The Ask Me Anything session that we do every week in the premium trading group. If you guys have not seen that, sorry about that. Okay, so let's get into what were we talking about here? Oh, I know what is weird. I was looking up at my thing and I thought I kind of looked strange. There we go. Wondered kind of what was up with that. It was auto white balance was on. I hate that thing, man. Every time my computer restarts, Logitech just wants to lock in how my webcam should work. And I've adjusted my webcam the way that I want it. So thank you guys. Sorry I looked like really weird and sickish and pale there for a second. Yeah. Okay, back into Bitcoin's price. Again, guys, I'm not taking a position right now. I'm still sitting in my short position. I think that we're going to see some chop. I think that we're going to see some consolidation. And I think that if you want to catch some action, the lower time frames are probably where you want to be, of course, trading along with PTP methodology. So let's actually talk about that a little bit. So 12-hour chart is giving no clear signal. WADA is keeping you out of the market. Let's see here. 8-hour time frame is signaling along that WADA is not confirming, so you would not be taking that. Going down to our 4-hour time frame, we did just get a long signal that WADA did not confirm. That WADA did not confirm. And let's see if we can get a short signal that could be generated if we close below this baseline right here. Interestingly enough, you guys can see how well these baselines work. Again, price coming back down. The 4-hour 55 exponential moving average, which is our secondary baseline. These things tend to work very well on different. Even across different time frames. So we are about to get we got the hourly exponential moving crossover right here, which would have set you up for a beautiful short position. That's something that we're going to be going over in the advanced modules about how you actually are going to have multiple indicators. You're going to have multiple strategies on your chart. Because Vishal, if you spam that question again, man, I'm sorry, dude, but I'm going to probably mute you because I've answered your question, and please try to have some respect for everybody else in the chat. So where do I trade for doing smart trades? So Binance, and we're going to be adding Coinbase Pro support at the end of the month. So just here in a few days as well. Hey, thank you, Andrew Lovelace. Highly appreciate it, man. Randall Krotz. I actually did really well on. I actually did pretty well on my BitMEX entry, not on ByBit. I started averaging into my short around the $11,900 area around ByBit, and then averaged in all the way up. But BitMEX, actually, it's funny because the day when all this happened, like right before the dump, I told everybody in the group because Alex handled the daily scan that day. I had a family obligation. I had to go to my kid's event. And so I went and did that. So I left my house around 4 p.m. my time, and price was like at 14,000 basically, right? So I put on a short on BitMEX because I was just averaging in, and I was done averaging on ByBit. So I was at that point where I'm like, okay, we'll see how price looks when I come back to the computer tonight. I had position size appropriately. I'm like, either this trade is going to hit my absolute stop loss or it's not. Doesn't matter. So I had an average entry around 12.3 on ByBit, and then over on BitMEX, price was at, I don't remember, but it was pretty much at the peak. I could go look, but it doesn't really matter. But it was pretty much at the peak. And I put on a short position, for about 25,000 contracts. And I stepped away and I left, right? Because that's how I trade. Like I put on positions, I set my orders, and then I walk away. Like I don't sit there and watch the chart. That is ridiculous. Nobody who generally makes a lot of money, trades that way. Except for, there are lower time frame traders, but again, they're following strategy. So the problem with most traders is that they put on a trade and then they don't have rules that they follow to tell them when to get in and when to get out. They get in and get out if price moves against them, right? Or if price goes in their favor, they quickly take profit. And that is why most traders fail, because it's not because your subjective idea about your thoughts and emotions are going to vary with price, because price is going to move up and price is going to move down, and price might pull way back before it pushes way up. And the entire thing about having a system of technical indicators is that you can just take your mind out of the market, because that is your biggest enemy. So there's nothing wrong with trading lower time frames. There are huge advantages to trading the higher time frames, i.e. time. So if you want to be somebody who makes their living trading the markets, where you work for an hour a day, of course I work for about 12 hours a day, but that's because of everything that I do. But the point is, I only trade for about an hour a day, right? Now actually for me, it takes a little bit longer because now I'm trading Forex again. So I'm doing the small capital challenge. You guys can go over to crypto Twitter, and follow along with my Forex trades. Every single Forex trade that I have on right now is in the green. I'm up about 235 pips. Overall, if you average up like how up in pips all my trades are, I have about 9 active positions open right now. I took profit on one last night, Kiwi trade. And I'm going to be doing that small capital challenge for the next 3 months until we officially support Forex trading in Q3. So currently the roadmap for the premium trading group is we're going to add Coinbase Pro support, calls, and signals in July. So at the beginning of July, so just here in a few days. And then I'm looking into Bittrex and Wabi Pro in addition to Binance. So we will be adding one of those. This is the current roadmap. This is subject to change, but we will be adding one of those in addition to the exchanges that we currently support, which is BitMEX, ByBit, Deribit. Binance right now is the exchanges we support. So we'll be adding Coinbase support at the end of this month. And then I am looking to add Bittrex or Wabi Pro support at the end of July. So at the beginning of August. And then my goal is to institute Forex trading official education, mentoring, support, and signals in September. All right. But it could be November. It just depends on everything that we're working on here. Okay. 1 hour of trading and a lot of research in the background. Correct. Yes. But when it comes to charting, execution, so charting, calculation, and execution, that's all done very quickly. Once you know what you're doing, like I don't sit here at the chart. You guys know because you guys ask for chart requests, and I'll just look at the chart and I'll tell you, yeah, I'd buy or sell, or I'd do nothing. Most of the times I'd do nothing because there's generally not a position to take. What platform or exchange is best for Forex? I mean, that really depends on where you live and what country you're from. I've got a couple biases, so I use Awanda. I love Awanda. That's my favorite broker. But It's Hard says, hey, Justin, ever thought about Asian audience? You are not getting enough active viewers from Asia, Japan. 2:34 a.m. China's 1:35 a.m. Get everything ready for the bull run. I feel you, man. I feel you. We could be doing something in the Asian session for sure. I just saw something on... just saw an alert come through, but Stream Labels is telling me to screw off, as it so frequently does. So I'm sorry if I missed something. There we go. See, it works if I just close and restart it. XX5TR1K3R. Circ. Hey, thanks so much for the follow over on Twitch there, brother. What leverage do I generally use on for Forex? 20. Set it at 20 and walk away, man. What are my thoughts on Bitcoin? Just everything that I've been talking about for the last 30 minutes, my brother. I think that we're going to see some chop. I'm not in a long position. I'm still in a short position. I took the profit. So I took profit on my XBT short on BitMEX, but I'm still in my short position on ByBit. Let's see here. Tax season's around the corner. Does the trading group address the best strategies to avoid paying a grip on trading taxes? Yeah. Get a professional. If you're trading, I've talked about this a lot on the show. We're working on actually getting a referral for several accountants that I know are experienced with cryptocurrency taxation. Of course, this is going to be for American clients because I live in America. So my best advice is to get a professional to advise you because I'm not a CPA. I know quite a bit about cryptocurrency taxation. In fact, the show, I think it was 2 or 3 days ago, I did a whole half-hour segment on crypto taxation. So if you're trading futures contracts, that is going to be Section 1256 taxation. So 60% of your gains are going to be taxed as long-term capital gains and 40% as short-term capital gains. But the problem is futures contracts. Thanks, SM Salim. Thank you so much for the subscription over there on YouTube. The problem with Bitcoin futures trading is that it's marked to market, meaning that at the end of the year, you're going to pay taxes on your paper profits, regardless of whether you've sold your position or not. Now, for most traders, that doesn't really matter because most cryptocurrency traders are not holding multi-year positions open because the market doesn't exist. But just saying, if you have held on, like for example, and the perpetual contract is going to chew you up with fees if you hold on a position for an extremely long period of time, because the perpetual futures contract is not designed it is designed to de-incentivize holding multi-month positions open on. That's what futures expiration contracts are for. And of course, BitMEX does not allow you to hold multi-month positions open. Go figure, unlike the CME. But since the CME is the only current place where you can trade regulated Bitcoin futures currently, then you're going to be paying Section 1256 taxes. If you're an American customer and you are trading Bitcoin futures on cryptocurrency platforms that are not regulated, then when you report the income, it's just going to be long-term capital gains tax is typically the way that this has worked because they're not regulated taxations, i.e. not classified as Section 1256. Confirmed. Whales are dumping in the hour. Can I get more or less wrecked in Forex than crypto? It depends on your strategy, man. You could get absolutely wrecked no matter what you do, man. What do I think is the next support level if Bitcoin goes down now? Well, the support levels that I always utilize, again, we could break this down and look at order blocks, support and resistance. We could do all of that. But I'd be looking at the 55 exponential moving average, the secondary baseline, because price typically has a good reaction with that. So reversal trades off the baseline, reversal trades off the secondary baseline are always a strategy in BTP. Now, as far as Forex brokers to trade on, I wanted to return to that question. There are some really, really, really good brokers around the world to trade on. You want to be trading on brokers that are in larger companies with good financial regulation. So Australia, America, Europe, places of that nature. You typically want to stay away from brokers in Russia, Panama, Malta, Estonia, things of that nature, right? Any thoughts on Link? Well, I'm long on Link USDT and Link BTC. And Coinbase added Link yesterday. And we actually had a huge news segment in yesterday's video where we went over Link, the entire saga of Chainlink, from 4chan to Coinbase Pro. Link's cool, man. What is the trend line support level? I mean, so where is it coming in at? It's coming in at 85.63. A lot of people are calling for a movement down to 8,500, which means they're probably wrong, but I mean, it doesn't really matter where price goes because we're technical indicator based. We trade momentum. So if price breaks below the baseline, then we go short and then we just buy back in whenever our indicators tell us to go long. Dan Adams over on Twitter, brother. So tw.crackingcryptocurrency.com, or you can search for cracking crypto, cracking underscore crypto on Twitter, man. I've been posting screenshots of my Forex trades for the last 2 days because I just started 2 days ago. Been paper trading the Forex demo accounts for 8 months, optimizing my strats for the Forex markets, and now my capital's left. It's not, again, it's a very small capital account because that's just how I do things. I go paper trading and demo trading to small capital, and then we'll launch. We will launch in September or November. It just depends on exactly how things work out because we got a lot of projects cooking in the background. PTP, bots, automation, Pine script coding, strategy testing, all that stuff. Okay, so that's a lot about BTC USD. Let's get over to Ethereum. I feel the exact same way about Ethereum, so you could just literally copy paste everything that I just said. Technical indicators are not signaling a movement. In fact, we are still getting bearish momentum from Ethereum over here on the Coinbase chart. We actually did close barely below the baseline and moving back above. So I would have not chided anybody for being patient and waiting to see a nice open and close. But again, this candle opened up and pretty much just immediately started pumping. So sometimes you want to take those things into account as well for the purposes of moving in and out. No, I'm not, Ivan. Nope, I'm not really. And I don't just hold Tether. So the amount of capital that I have on Binance is significantly less than I have in cold storage. It's also significantly less than what I have on ByBit. It's also significantly less than what I have on Coinbase. So the capital that I have on Binance allows me to put on the trades with a correct position size pursuant to my available capital, okay? And I adjust that every once in a while. So I never, ever sit all in USDT. In fact, so because of the leverage that I'm able to use on ByBit and BitMEX, where I actually do the majority of my trading, where the majority of my trades occur. However, you could say that I actually trade more on Binance because there's way more pairs on there, but I use less capital because I have to, right? Like literally, if I were to put on full risk position sizes, so when you have a large account, you do have to do certain things to adjust your capital size. So for example, I can't put on an $18,000 position on most Binance coins. I would move the market. So it'd be great for everybody that I just gave a signal to, for example, right? It's great for everybody that's using my strategy, not so good for me. So I have to be realistic about what position sizes I can put on. So again, we use the calculator for that. It automatically determines things, and then we just adjust our position size. And that's a tool that we provide to all our members. So I would say that significantly less capital I put onto the majority of Binance trades. Now, BitMEX trades and ByBit trades, because of the liquidity there and because of the access to leverage, I don't have to have a lot of capital on those exchanges. That's the purpose of leverage in the first place, is leverage is not there for you to get rich quick. And if you think that it is, that's why you're losing money. Leverage is only there so that you have to deposit less money with the exchange. That's it, right? So most of my money actually sits in cold storage or on Coinbase, right? Where it's pretty gosh darn safe. Am I keto adapted? Not at the moment. I do go back and forth. I generally go keto on, keto off, 3 to 4 months, and then go keto off. So I don't see a good entry here for Ethereum USD. If I were to take a trade, if I wanted to take a long trade at this point in time, it would be the Aussie dollar. I want to say, well, here, I'll tell you real quick. I am long on the Aussie yen, the Canadian Swissy. Wait. Yeah. Short on the Euro Aussie, short on the Euro CAD, short on the Euro Kiwi, long on the Kiwi CAD, long on the Kiwi Swissy, and short on the dollar yuan. So I don't have a position. So I started off, again, this is a small capital account, so I just want you guys to understand it's the percentages that matter. So I put $100 into the Yawanda broker, and I'm at $102.12. So I'm up 2% on my account in a day, 2 days. That's what matters. The percentages matter because I know I back tested my strats, and I know that ideally I should be pulling 30 to 40%, but probably not a month, but because of just Forex. But I don't want to take on all that additional risk. But the point is that that's a good segment. So you prove that you can do it with $100. You actually see that you can actually increase. The percentages are what matter, not the USD value. And then you know that you can do it with 50,000 or 100,000 or 5,000, depending on whatever your capital allotments are, or 1,000 or 500. It doesn't matter. Typically, you're gonna if you don't have that much money, you're gonna do better in cryptocurrency. But if you have $1,000 to $5,000, you can do all right in Forex. It's the same with cryptocurrency, man. Like just stop paying attention to what all these educators in the space, all this trading education is telling you to do. Don't look at subjective price action. Don't trade lower time frames. Develop a technical indicator-based strategy that tells you exactly what to do, and apply strategic position sizing and risk management for every single trade. And keep a journal. Just keep a journal, man. I mean, those are just really simple things that you can do to dramatically improve your success. Ron Legato, my good man, thank you so much for the $10. Let me get some love in the chat for Mr. Ron Legato supporting the channel, man. Thank you so much, my good friend. Highly appreciated. You're one of the good ones, my brother. All right, coming in at 12:50. It's time for us to go to break, man. Let's go down to the 4-hour chart and see if we've got any signals. Now, we are threatening the 4-hour exponential moving average crossover. The moving average cross under, excuse me. So I think that's important. AK, thank you so much for the 111 cheer, my good friend. Hell yeah. Pumping up. Thank you so much, Alpine Whip. And by the way, my brother, got you all processed this morning. Thank you so much for joining the group, and I'm looking forward to walking through everything with you. If you have any questions, make sure to shoot me a DM. The bot should have DM'd all the information to you. You should have been granted all the access to all our information. I've granted your indicator access as well, so you should be good to go, man. Let me know if you got any questions, and I'm looking forward to trading with you. Now, we are threatening a 4-hour exponential moving average cross under. Now, I do tend to pay attention to that, especially on these meso time frames where they are tradable. Like the 4-hour is a tradable time frame. It's a good time frame to trade. I really don't recommend that individuals go lower than that because the 4-hour time frame does give you good frequency of signals. And then what's the leverage that what max leverage should we use for crypto? So 25. You should never ever use more than 25 leverage, 25x leverage. And in general, you should generally stay between like 5 to 10. Really all you need. For the altcoin pairs, again, I use cross margin for everything that I do. I don't use isolated margin because I put my stop loss where I put my stop loss, and I calculate my stop loss. So once I have my stop loss calculated with the position size calculator that all the members have access to in the group, then they use the trading journal and the position size calculator that automatically tells them exactly what their position size will be and how much money they'll lose if their stop loss gets hit. And that's how we position size strategically. Every single trade. And I went on a pretty extensive rant yesterday about how if you are not pulling out the calculator every time you put on a trade, that is why you're losing money. It is strategy over time. It is discipline over time that produces results. If you are responding to what the market does without your strategy, then you're in trouble. Now, one thing that could be said is after this massive sell-off, we are back testing, support as resistance. I do think that this movement is going to fail. I thought Wada Atar was tweaked for the 30-minute chart. So the correct words would be Wada Atar, which is the name of the gentleman who designed the indicator, developed Wada Atar for the 30-minute time frame, and then I have tweaked the code to work well on the daily time frame. Nonsense. Why not use 50x or 100x if your trade allows? Yeah, that's absolutely fine. I'm not going to give that advice. I'm not going to give that advice to retail traders who are watching this. I never will. And I'm just leaving money on the table, maybe from your perspective, but I don't think so. The leverage doesn't matter, dude. No. So you saying that like kind of points out to me that you don't really know what you're talking about, because leverage does not put or take money off the table. Your position size does. So you are saying take additional risk. I don't do that, man. That's why I'm a professional trader. That's why I've been doing this for a long time in multiple markets. So again, that's kind of like the third snarky thing that you've come in the chat and said that makes me think that you are not that good of a trader. But again, I don't know. I'm kind of being a jerk about that, but I'm just assuming. But what leverage do you calculate with when you use cross? Well, one, I don't calculate my position size based off leverage. I calculate my position size based off order value, which is the actual position size. So you always calculate your position size with 1x leverage. And then you just adjust your if you're using isolated leverage, if you're using isolated margin, then you just adjust your leverage to take on the correct position size. I mean, there's nothing to go calculate. I mean, perhaps I misinterpreted you, but you said, why not use greater leverage if your trade allows it? You're just leaving money on the table. So you're just leaving money on the table. So first off, the idea, the word leaving money on the table implies that you would make more money if you used more leverage, and you would not. You would not make more money with more leverage unless you were increasing your leverage to put on a larger position size. And 90% of individuals, especially over on BitMEX, are going to be doing that to take on outsized risk that they actually don't have the capital for. So I will not recommend that people do that, because for that reason, that is a major reason why there are so many retail liquidations on BitMEX. So I am actually going to try to provide the majority of the viewers of this channel more substantial advice that I think is going to suit them better. Now there are some problems with using 50 and 100x leverage on BitMEX, and that is maintenance margin requirements. So when you use 100x leverage, you are only protected by half of your margin, because the maintenance margin requirement is high. So instead of, and that's less pronounced on anything lower than 100x. So 50 and 25, that's actually not as big of a thing. And 25 below, it's actually not a thing. So excuse me, it is a little bit with 50x, but with 100x leverage, your maintenance margin requirement is going to be half of the margin that you apply to the trade, meaning your bankruptcy price is relatively higher, right? So you have a dramatically increased probability to get liquidated with isolated margin on BitMEX using 100x. And that is a nuance of BitMEX, okay? So my original point stands. 50x and 100x leverage on BitMEX are generally designed to make you lose if you are using isolated margin. Now, if you are using cross margin, and that's automatically calculated, that's fine, all right? It all comes down to where your stop loss is and what your position size is based off of your stop loss, because that is what determines your risk. And so, again, I say this a lot, and this is so true. Leverage literally does not matter at all. Leverage does not make you more money or make you lose money, okay? The only way it could is if your stop loss is below your liquidation price and you hit your liquidation price, in which case you'll lose more money because they take all of your margin. Whereas if your stop loss gets hit, you're going to save quite a bit of money than just getting liquidated, even if it's only like a few ticks above. But then again, on BitMEX, then you have to pray and hope that your stop loss gets triggered instead of your liquidation price, which again, you can kind of adjust a little bit by trying to use mark price. But again, good luck. That's why I don't trade on BitMEX a lot. I mean, I do as far as their altcoins go, but it's very, very, very rare that I have a stop loss get hit anyways. And that's because I have early exit systems. So yeah, I really do stand on what I just said to you, man. But I actually do appreciate, regardless of whether I'm like right or wrong about your intentions coming on the stream, I definitely don't want to kind of come off like a dick. So I do appreciate that did bring up what I think was a good conversation for the rest of the stream to hear. So thank you for that, man. And again, if I'm wrong about your intentions, prove me wrong. Is my voice low? Well, I did add this pop filter. Is it popping? Does the pop filter not allow pops to go through? I don't know. So let's do this right here. It is 12:57, so we've got 3 minutes for the break. And when we come back, Christopher Watts, thank you so much for joining the community over there on YouTube, my good friend. I might have started talking a little bit lower because I generally shout at the microphone because I'm an excitable person. Yeah, I don't know what is up with stream labels. I just have to turn it off and turn it back on. Bitcoin diving. Dive. Well, man, when you look at the daily, it's really not that crazy, dude. But let's see. Let's go to the lower time frames. Bitcoin diving on a 30-minute up candle. So get off the lower time frames, man. Things are listen, there's going to be lots of wibble wobbles, okay? This is diving. When we were down here, you could have been objectively Bitcoin is diving. Hear those pops, boy? I short stocks, haven't done it in crypto yet, but for stock margin trading is all about position. Yeah, regardless of where you're at, it's all about position sizing, my good man. I feel you, man. I am too, man. So I'd actually be I'm always looking forward to working with people who are intelligent, good in the space, motivated. All right, it's 12:59, guys. Let's go to break real quick. Don't go anywhere, because when we get back, we're going to have to do a huge lightning round of charts to look at, because we're going to look at long... We're going to look at dominance. We're going to look at its effect on price. We're going to look at tether dominance. We're going to look at longs and shorts, although there's not really a whole lot to look at there. We're going to look at traditional markets. We're going to look at our indices, our commodities, our metals, and our oils. We're going to look at our Forex pairs, and we're going to break down the relevant news of the day. Of course, on the agenda is going to be the Financial Action Task Force, the Financial Action Task Forces, there we go, guidance on crypto exchanges and sharing information amongst crypto exchanges. So could your private and personal information be shared? We're going to find out. And we're going to talk about the idea of the Libra coin being backed by gold, Binance's anti-fraud system, and ShapeShift and Binance's plans to support the devil, Libra coin itself. Guys, now, before I run off to break here real quick, as traders, selecting our exchange is going to be one of the most important decisions that we can make. I'm often asked as a professional, what are the metrics that I use to evaluate what exchange I'm going to trade on, what exchange I trust with my capital? And I say the same thing every time. Those metrics are going to be security, ease of use, and customer service. And the exchange that for me checks all of those boxes is ByBit. Okay, they are based in Singapore, which has some of the strictest financial regulations. CFDs are banned in America and in Singapore. That should tell you a whole lot about the country and about the company that chooses to incorporate there, rather than, I don't know, Seychelles, for example, right? Their platform is super simple. It is intuitive to use. It also has advanced order features for traders who do desire that and need that for their trading. And they literally have customer service on their main page. Their live chat is in the bottom corner of their screen, and you can accelerate that if your needs so require. I've absolutely loved using the platform, and it is my personal mission at this point in time to get people off of BitMEX because of all the BS that they do over there. So if you would like to check out ByBit, you can visit bybit.krakencryptocurrency.com. You can get up to $60 for free from ByBit just to test their platform. Again, that's bybit.krakencryptocurrency.com, the exchange that we trade on. So we'll be right back, guys. And when we come back, we're going to break all that down. I'll see you in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. And Gabriel, my good friend, man. Gabriel, my good friend, thank you so much for the 1313, my good dude. It has been a while since I've seen you. It is so good to see you back in the chat, man. I'm so happy that you're catching another live stream. It has been a while, man. Thank you so much. Excuse me. And he says, been a while since I caught a live stream, but always appreciate the content and your wise words, both for TA and life analysis. All the best, Kraken community. Thank you so much, my good friend. Highly, highly appreciate it, man. You are one of the good ones, my brother. And yes, good. Good to see you displayed on screen there, man. Hopefully you're doing really well, man. Okay, so we went over Bitcoin. We went over Ethereum. We went over bear or bull win today. I'm still in a short position. I don't have a lot of faith in this movement to the upside. I think it's a reactionary movement. But again, I just discussed Bitcoin's price for about an hour, so if you'd like to rewind. But that's my TLDR. That is my TLDR. But again, that is my subjective analysis. If the indicators signal to go long, then I'll go long. We are still above the baseline, so still sitting in Bitcoin, still sitting in my spot position for the majority of my capital. And that's really the TLDR, man. That's really the TLDR. I think that we're going to get a lot of chop. I think that we're going to get a lot of consolidation for probably a month. But we will see. All right, moving on over to Let's see here. Did Link hit another take profit there? Did not. Okay, cool. Oh, shoot. You guys are probably here in Discord. Flinger. Put that on D&D. D&D. Anybody play D&D? Roll that 20-sided dice, y'all. Okay, so we're going to go to our major markets and look at traditionals. We'll start off with the S&P 500 CFD, as we always do over there on Awanda. Now, let's take Rodrigo ATR off for just a moment. We might be getting a continuation long. I don't think so today. We are a few ticks away. Let's make sure. Okay, we are a few ticks away from Minx crossing above static, getting out of the static level, i.e. we are in a no-trade position right now. Volume is not super bueno, but we don't need volume for a continuation trade. We are still above the daily baseline, kind of similarly putting in what Bitcoin did, but again, over a dramatic period of time, over 4 days, instead of one big massive candle to the downside, and seeing this kind of reactionary movement off the baseline. And this is exactly what Bitcoin might look like, a nice movement off the baseline and then a weaker movement followed by consolidation and chop. So we will see. MTCoiner man coming through with the $10 super chat, my good man. Thank you so much for the support. He says, can you look at Litecoin? Sorry if you have covered that already. I miss stuff while working sometimes. You did not miss anything. Let me throw it out. Okay, good. And I got a request here for Zek Oozed from Wayne Arndt, man. Thank you so much. Scott, you're killing it, man. I got that for you, brother. Thank you so much for the support and throwing those bands. Okay. So looking at our S&P right here, I don't see a trade on the table right now. I wouldn't be taking the CFD long or short, but we'll see tomorrow. We might be getting a continuation long signal, which I would be taking. Hopping down to our E-mini futures. Let's go look at the NQ. Again, this is going to be the same. NQ, SP, and the Dow. There's no trades to be taken. They're all in no trade zones, but we are coming up where we could potentially be getting a continuation long either tomorrow or maybe in a couple of days. So not tomorrow, but come next week, right? Because the market's going to be closing today. So overall, as the market is closing out today, I would not be in a position. I would have your money out of the markets for the E-mini futures and for your S&P CFDs as we are moving into closing here in about 4 hours on Awanda. Actually, a little less than 4 hours. So 3 hours and 50 minutes you have to close out your positions on Awanda. Before the weekend, doldrums come. Now, the SP, again, putting in a little bit more bullishness here, but again, still not signaling a continuation long signal. So again, I'd still have your money out of the markets. Looking over at the Dow, same thing. Sideways consolidation, not a lot of volatility, nothing really to do. And the Russell 1000 is signaling up a long signal. So I would be cautious. Maybe you don't want to get gapped up when the market opens up on Monday, but there is a potential for you to have a position. We need to see if we are within the qualifying line. And I don't think that we are, honestly. So I do think that this is an invalid trade, yes. So as long as the candle looks like it's going to close like this when traditional markets close, I would wait until Monday to see if we get a pullback back into the buy zone to take a long trade on the Russell 1000. But overall, it looks pretty good, man. We just got to see how this plays out. We are too high above the qualifying line to take a long position at this time. So let's look for the pullback. WADA Atar confirms, the volume oscillator confirms everything looks quite good. Looking at VIX for the day, sitting at about 16. So a little bit of dangerous volatility, honestly, guys. So be careful on those lower time frames. And looking at our GLD commods, again, still in no trade zone. We've had a little bit back of a pullback to the qualifying line, and let's wait for a continuation signal. 1:40 a.m. Thank you so much for joining the community over there on Twitch, my good friend. Now let's get back into our CFDs. Looking at our metals first, Zao, same thing, just as we looked up the GLD commods. There's really not a trade to be taken. We did have a nice pullback in this bullish run. I still think that gold is quite bullish, but there's not a position to be taken on now. We've taken multiple Zao trades to the upside. All of them so far doing quite well for us. Been playing the long side this whole time. Why? Because price is above the baseline, and we do not take counter trend trades 95% of the time. Looking at Palladium still continuing to do good. There is not a trade on the table. We have exited our long holds on Palladium. Now, obviously, Palladium is part of my investment basket. I've talked about that a little bit, about quite a significant amount of physical Palladium a while ago, about a couple months back. And so I'm pretty happy about this. But again, that's just part of my investment. It can go down, it can go up. I hold on to those funds. Looking over at our silver trades, price did pull back down to the baseline. So any reversal trade taken off the baseline is doing well in the direction of the dominant trend, which is to the upside. Still bullish on ZAG. Let's see if we get a failure to achieve and a close below the baseline, i.e. that would be setting up a short. Looking at platinum. All right, platinum finally is starting to do something. We are getting a continuation long on the close of today's candle. We are above the qualifying line. Let's see if we can get a little bit of a pullback, because keep in mind, we still do have our primary baseline beneath our secondary baseline, and that's exactly what we're testing into right now. Now, platinum has been an absolute do-nothing trade. We can see this level of what appears to be accumulation now, looking back over the last couple of weeks. I would still be very cautious with putting on a platinum trade. I'd like to see a pullback, and I would like to see actual volume, and I'd also like to see that moving average crossover. But it's not essential to see that, right? But we can't take this continuation long because we have closed below the baseline. Looking at gold to silver is pulling back a little bit, still bullish, still above the baseline. So, i.e., by dent, you have to be a little cautious about our silver trades. Looking at Bentley crude, guys, I've said this for a while. I'm still very, very bullish on crude oil, both Bentley crude and West Texas oil. West Texas oil continues to plunge. I've been long on West Texas since here. And similar to Bentley crude, long signal over here. Nothing to do. Nothing to do. RVGI still has not crossed to the underside, so we'll see if we'll be taking profit here and then waiting for a continuation trade. Looking at our primary commods here again, we are getting a primary short signal on corn now. We are getting a primary short signal, not on soybeans. Interesting. We did get a short signal on soybeans yesterday that is now going to be a losing trade. Let's see if corn does the same thing. So is corn within the qualifying line? Corn is not. So we need to wait for a little bit of a correction on corn to take it to the downside. Natural gas as well signaled a long trade. You are actually getting a better entry price looking to pick up the trade now, or you could wait for Monday. Looking at sugar. Sugar is actually signaling along, which is quite nice. So we pumped up above the baseline and a nice pullback, bouncing right off the baseline. So getting a very attractive entry price with very low risk, because if price closes below the baseline, you would be out of the trade. Okay, and then wheat would be our last massive commodity to look at. Very similar to corn. I think it's going to be throwing up a short signal. It is lagging behind a little bit, so let's just give this a little bit of time. Okay, that takes care of our CFDs. Moving on to Forex, looking at the Aussie yen. Aussie yen is a long position that I'm in, so still confident in that long position. Aussie dollar is also a long position that I'm not long on the Aussie dollar, but yes. So I think somebody asked about the Aussie dollar earlier. The Aussie dollar is quite bullish. The Canadian Swiss is something that I'm long on as well. The Canadian yen is also yes, I am long on the Canadian yen. Excuse me. I think I got to look at my trades. Okay, no, I'm sorry. Not long on the CAD yen. Not long on the CAD yen. Long on the Canadian Swiss. Yes, long on the Canadian Swiss. Short on the European CAD. Canadian yen looks good as well. Long signal that I've held open for a while. Or excuse me, that was the CAD yen. Correction. That was the CAD yen. Still looks good. Continuation long signal over here that we would be taking to the upside. The Swissy yen still riding that original long signal from back over here. You're still in good profits. The Euro Aussie again continues to be a strong short signal. The Euro CAD continues to be a strong short signal. The Euro Swissy is a do nothing trade at this point in time, but I'd be biased to the downside. The Euro Kiwi is something that I am short on as well. The Euro Pound is a do-nothing trade. The Euro Yen is a do-nothing trade. The Euro Dollar is a do-nothing trade. The Pound Kiwi is a strong short. However, I would be looking to take profit as we move into these next few days of consolidation. The Pound CAD is a do-nothing trade. Take profit on your short if you are using the sensitive exit indicator, and hold the trade open if you are using the less sensitive exit indicator. The Pound Aussie has been a very good short signal. It was generated about 3 days ago. I'd probably be looking to take some profit off the table, I'm sure, if we have already hit take profit one, which I'm sure we have, and then be careful as we move into the weekend. Pound Swissy, Pound Yen, nothing to do. Pound Dollar, nothing to do. Kiwi Dollar is obviously very strong. The Kiwi CAD, very strong. The Kiwi Swissy, very strong. It's the Kiwi's time, man. The Kiwi weighted against anything is doing quite well. The Kiwi Yen doing quite well. The Dollar CAD is short. The Dollar Swissy is nothing. The Dollar Yen is nothing. Moving to the Aussie trades, the Aussie CAD is nothing. The Aussie Swissy, I believe, is a long trade. Yep, long yesterday. And looking at the Dollar Yuan is a very strong short, in my opinion, for fundamental reasons. Crazy volatility all over, my brother. All right, so that takes care of our major Forex pairs and our commodities. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Let me know if you guys are holding any positions. Ken D, thank you so much, my brother. Jeremy Bai, can you please give a heads up when you guys add Coinbase Pro to Premium? We're going to be adding it at the end of the month, so July 1st, my good man. I've already got my watch list for all the pairs that I will be generating signals for. So here in just a couple days. 30 days past September, April, June, and November, so 3 days. Let's get into... I guess there's really no charts to look at. So we're going to get into the news. Artilla, man, thank you so much for the follow over there on Twitch. Thanks for joining the community. Looks like I got to reboot stream labels again. 1:40 a.m. following over there on Twitch. Artilla following over on Twitch. Daniel Zhao and Fairbuero Tribino. Thank you so much for the follows or the subscriptions over there on YouTube, guys. Welcome to the community. Good day today. Good day today. Hope you guys are all doing fantastic. All right. All right, so let's get into the news of the day. There's a lot to go over, but we're going to keep it short, sweet, and simple, guys. So, Steve Forbes, CEO and editor of Steve Forbes, who is the CEO and editor-in-chief of Forbes Media, has written a letter to advise good old Mark Zuck to back Libra with gold and not a basket of currencies. Now, this would give, in his argument, the Libra something that no other currency has, which is a fixed value backed by a precious metal, i.e., and furthermore than that, a precious metal that has held its intrinsic value better than any other asset we've ever seen throughout time. Now, the real problem here, in my estimation, is not what the Libra is backed by, but its centralization. We have to trust the nodes. The nodes, and those nodes are nodes by dint of them having paid $10 million to have that right. So, for all their talk of decentralizing in the future, we know historically how centralized power reneges on the promises of giving that power back. It never happens. We have every historical example to point out that power is never given back to the people once it is centralized in the hands of institutions. So, and then building further on this, I would never desire, even in the most positive light, even if we just ignore everything that I just said, for there to only be one asset backing anything. A large portion could be gold, but it needs to be hedged with other assets, currencies, or commodities, because that is the basis of stability, right? You don't just put all your funds, you don't just back everything with gold. Now, a lot of people are for this. A lot of people are against this because a lot of people feel that this would disallow Facebook or Libra. Again, Facebook isn't running Libra, but this would disallow Libra from just printing as much money as they wanted to. Keep in mind that already in their white paper is that qualifier. They can only mint new Libra when individuals deposit currencies with them that are part of their basket of currencies to request new Libra. That is the only way that they're allowed to generate new Libra. So they don't have the power to just fabricate money, right? I think that this is probably going to be far more regulated than something like Tether, but again, there's arguments to the pro and con side of Tether. A lot of people are very supportive of Tether, and a large portion of the community feels to think that they just print money when they want to, and they don't actually deposit currency. I tend to think that it's probably a combination of both. I think that for the most part, a lot of individuals, or I think a lot of the money that Tether prints, a lot of the Tether that the USD, that the Tether Treasury prints, is actually backed up by reserves. So, what do you guys think about this? Do you guys think that the Libra coin should be backed up by gold? Do you guys think that it should be backed up by anything? Or do you think that it doesn't really matter what it's backed by, and the most important thing is its centralization? I'd be really interested to hear what you have to say on the subject. Let me know in the chat. So moving on from that, I want to give my thoughts on the guidance published by the International Guidance Agency, the Financial Action Task Force. Now, I was asked about my thoughts on this a few days ago, and I hadn't really reviewed their paper. I hadn't really reviewed their recommendations, and now that I have, so here's a news article that I'm using, for example. And last week, the FATF constructed and published guidance on how countries should respond to the development of VASPs. Now, VASPs, for those of you unfamiliar with the international parlance, is virtual asset service provider. So if you are a cryptocurrency exchange or custodian or a hedge fund or any type of large entity, then you are by definition a VASP, a virtual asset service provider. Now, the most important thing that they recommended and what has definitely caught the public's eye is the travel rule. And this is basically identical to what already exists in the United States for wire transfers. And it states that, well, besides it just being a law in the books that allows people to get hit with it whenever they do something that the government doesn't like, but it states that when funds are transferred by a user from one exchange to another exchange, that the exchanges should share information that they have on that user. So this would be like account numbers, names, geographic addresses, for example. Now, it's important to note that the FATF actually have no power. There are no repercussions for any nation telling them to shove off. Any country can adopt all, some, or none of their recommendations. They're just an advisory agency, right? So in practice, the more important a financial sector, the less likely they are to fully adopt the FATF's ideas. They might adopt some, but only if it was in their best interest. We have to realize that from a national level, financial hubs are interested in attracting more capital or more wealthy individuals or companies and retaining the money that currently exists there. So this is why Switzerland, Malta, Panama, New York, for example, have their own rules and regulations, and they don't really take kindly to being told what to do by international regulatory authorities who don't have power. Now, this whole idea of the travel rule might sound scary. It's really not. But regardless, I don't really support this. These concepts are best designed for a world pre-cryptocurrency, in my opinion. Many would argue that they have no real issue, that there's no real right for a nation to institute some of these things when it comes to So excuse me. Some people would argue that it would be okay for these things to be law, especially when we're talking about fiat to crypto on-ramping, because in that instance, when we go fiat to crypto, a nation's currency is involved, which is that nation's purview. However, we're already well aware on this channel how governments use currency and currency manipulation to act as a club against their citizens and the general populace in general. So everything that we are doing with cryptocurrency from a fundamental perspective is to take power away from governments and put it in the hands of individuals and companies, private entities. Countries who do adopt the task force's guidance are scheduled to be submitting information to one another within 12 months. But as I said, there is no legal mandate to comply with this. I'm sure that we'll see some countries like Brazil have already said that they're going to adopt this measure, and some will not. So the danger, obviously, with this is that we're going to be pushing innovation and adoption further away from the mainstream during a time when we are seeing amazing development, onboarding, and adoption currently growing at an unprecedented rate. And that's let alone the price of Bitcoin right now. So again, something that I think is really, really interesting. Let me know what you guys think. So top crypto exchanges, ShapeShift and Binance, for instance, they are looking to add support for Facebook's Libra coin. So Eric Voorhees, the CEO of ShapeShift, he said, "It is too early because it doesn't exist yet, but I would love to integrate Libra into ShapeShift when it does exist." Now, he did add that listing it would depend on how well Libra actually works. He said that he has a few concerns regarding it, as while the cryptocurrency's white paper paints it as a project based on a relatively decentralized worldview, he believes that it may be different than when he believes that when it is actually launched, it may be significantly different from that. So he further states that we will see how freely it can move. For example, does someone need permission to integrate it into something? Because we all know that Libra is actually going to have smart contract capabilities on it. So what is that going to look like? Can you freely develop on it? I don't think that we will. I think that we're going to see all kinds of restrictions and regulations when it comes to Libra, as I've already talked about at length. If you guys go back and watch my video on Libra coin, you guys could kind of see my opinion on that more closely. So like I said, ShapeShift aren't the only ones willing to consider this. Binance's chief strategy officer, Jin Chao at Binance, said that they have had official dialogues with Facebook with regard to listings specifically. Right now, they are going to be on a so-called private chain. So that means they won't be looking for external liquidity. And from what they understand, the potential to be that would lead to them wanting a secondary market. And it wouldn't just be in Facebook's interest to list their coin on their exchange. It would also be in their interest to list on other exchanges as well. And that's probably going to happen. So we might potentially, from what these individuals are saying, see Facebook coin, see Libra coin on exchanges like Binance. Now, this is all to say that many, including Voorhees from ShapeShift, believe that Facebook's Libra could bolster Bitcoin adoption, further stating that one of the effects is that people, specifically Americans, will start to get more comfortable with a coin that is a little bit more powerful versus the dollar, and that will be their gateway drug into something that actually has substance, i.e., Bitcoin. So, we've talked about Libra quite a bit. Obviously, we know that it's going to be backed by a basket of fiat currencies and other assets, meaning its price will vary very little. So it won't swing like Bitcoin's price, but it will help people realize that it is okay to hold an asset that moves, because most people just are not aware of the movement of their fiat currency, because it does move. They're Forex markets, but they're not aware of that movement because, they notice that, the price of bread is not significantly different one day to the next day, at least in their subjective interpretation, for example. Let's see here. So Binance has developed an anti-fraud system to identify stolen funds. Now, according to CZ, the new system will track the stolen funds as they travel through the blockchain. It will also provide this data to other smaller exchanges. Master Boring, thank you so much for the sub over there on YouTube. Welcome to the community. So it will also provide this data to other smaller exchanges so that they can prevent the spread of illegitimately gained coins. CZ said that this shows that the industry is decentralized but united in its efforts to make the space better. Now, generally, exchanges need to run through the blockchain to find out if funds moving on their system have come from flagged stolen crypto addresses. And this is a lengthy process many small exchanges have difficulty doing because they have little manpower. Now, this new system that Binance has developed will provide updated information that smaller exchanges can use so that they can also help stop the flow of stolen funds. CZ added that victims of hacks will still need to report hacks as fast as they can to make the most of the new system, because it's kind of like the 48-hour rule. It's very critical to get that information into the system and start doing the research as soon as possible. Michael Seng, so thank you so much for joining the community over there on YouTube. Now, the anti-fraud system was announced in response to the calling of Singapore-based exchange BitTrue, which lost 9.3 million ZERP and 2.5 million Cardano, worth about $4.7 million. So earlier this month, crypto wallet GateHub also suffered a security breach, which saw 9.2 million, of which 500,000 XRP was recovered because of community cooperation. So we're all aware of cryptocurrency exchange hacks. So actually this I do quite like. I do like the idea of exchanges working together to stop the flow of illegal funds, freezing them and moving them back to the exchange, back to the people where they belong. This is just the kind of protection that you would want from any more advanced, more professional system. Now, on social media, many who are in favor of this believe it would help to add integrity to the markets. Now, other people do see this as the power to be abused by things like governments, for example, to blacklist certain individuals. And while that danger does exist, I think that the important thing is to keep this in the power, to make this power, well, we kind of come into a catch-22 there. Because if exchanges have the fiat ability to freeze funds, then it's not necessarily decentralized. It's not at all decentralized, because that power can then be abused. So it kind of comes back to my general feelings when I come back to my libertarian feelings in the first place. If you're using a company's product or exchange or platform or service, then they have the right to do what they want. And I think that since most retail traders are trading on exchanges that are centralized, as they should be at this point in time, because decentralized exchanges generally are going to get them wrecked because of liquidity, then I support this. I actually do. I do think this is good. We've had hacks, and if we actually have the ability for individuals to step in and exchanges to recover a significant or small portion of those funds and get them back to the people where they belong and continue to clean up the space, I actually think this is a good thing. And we will see, moving forward, decentralized opportunities to do this. And I think decentralized exchanges are the future, but again, they are definitely not the present. So 24,000 Bitcoin moved from an unknown wallet to Poloniex 1 hour ago. You guys know what that means. It is Bogdanov. Oh, I'm sorry you feel that way, Jared. Especially as somebody who regularly comes on here and argues the merits of anarcho-capitalistic thought and methodology. But everybody's entitled to their opinions, regardless of how well thought out or short-sighted they may or may not be. Going over to crypto bubbles. It is a beautiful day in the markets, guys. It's a beautiful day in the markets. Everything is bouncing back quite a little bit. Even Grin up 9.3%. Hypercash up 25.2%. Made Safe up well. CCCX and INB going right back to where it was. So we saw that INB pumped up significantly yesterday. A little bit of a haven. So you always want to be aware and wary and careful of those movements. Now, again, is this anything crazy? No. Whenever you have a significant move to the downside, you are typically going to see a reactionary move to the upside. But those are not the trades that we on this channel look to take. Those are reversal traders. Those are reversal traders trades. Now, there's nothing wrong with taking a reversal trade if it is systemic, if it is strategic and methodological in the direction of the dominant trend, because the trend is on your favor, the trend is your friend, and that's not just a platitude. It means trading in the direction of the way that price is trending. But we do have to be careful because, again, there's going to be a lot of false flags. I've said this a lot before. Most people think that the only way to profit in the cryptocurrency market is getting those really quick, fast, easy 10, 15, 20% movements. It's not. The real money, in my opinion, is coming from entering into established trends when they begin, when you have indications from your technical strategy that a trend is likely to establish, and then taking multiple trades in that direction throughout time. And you should have, again, we have this in PTP, a system that tells you when a trend establishes and gives you a signal then, and then a signal that tells you when the trend is continuing based on momentum. So within any trend, you're going to have bullish appreciation, pullbacks, consolidation, continued bullish appreciation, pullbacks, consolidation, bullish. So you need an indicator or a suite of indicators that gives you specific signals for each of those movements in the market. And that is the movements. So I don't really think that these trades right here, these are not trades that I would have taken. I didn't take a whole lot of trades. I only put on 2 positions last night, and they're both doing okay. Link, obviously, we've been long on Link USDT. We went long on Link BTC last night, so I'm happy about that. But again, those were trend-following trades because those trades, those coins never lost their bullish momentum. They never lost their bullish trend. They never closed below the baseline. So for that reason, we were able to take those trades, whether they were primary signals or continuation signals. Now, the reason why I say that is because the failure rate for reversal trading is very high. I continue to repeat that over and over and over again. But I won't look a gift horse in the mouth, and I will not look a gift horse in the mouth, and I will just be happy about the appreciation of price pretty much across the board. So congratulations to anybody that got in on these trades. Libra should be backed by Bitcoin instead of gold. I will go with Libra. As Andreas Antonopoulos would have said, they will teach those developers. Then those trained developers will work with open permissionless blockchain. That's a good idea. I think that's a good point. I think my main concern is that, and this is historically true, that whenever you give power to a centralized entity and they say that they will give that power back eventually, like, we're just going to start centralized. Don't worry, guys. We will eventually give power back to the people. It never works out that way. If you look at the Roman Empire, if you look at, I know this is a fictional example, but I always like to use the example of Emperor Palpatine, right? If you guys will recall the horrible, horrible, horrible prequel trilogy films that still hold a dear place in my heart because, I was young and they came out and they were the first, Star Wars that I got to see in theaters live. So, I really liked The Phantom Menace. I know a lot of people didn't like it. But, I would actually argue against that, Ryan Neese. DAI is backed by Ethereum, and that seems to work pretty well. Now, I do think that Libra is a centralized coin. I do think that it will be beneficial for getting people to be okay with blockchain technology. That's actually not a blockchain, but it still utilizes distributed ledger technology. So again, this whole argument of whether it's a blockchain or not a blockchain, it's not a blockchain, but it does utilize distributed ledger technology. I think that, I like to see the positive, everybody thinks that the world is just like teetering on the brink of absolute tyranny. And although we are, because these technological tools that we've constructed can be used against us, I'm bullish on humanity, guys. I really don't think that there is a corrupt government or big brother state entity that can be instituted that we can't get over. I really don't. I mean, we have seen so many, dictators, tyrannical governments murders, plagues, wars, atrocities, and we're still here kicking live. And you know what? I can still hold my daughter and look into her eyes and know that the world is a beautiful place. I can still meet fantastic people who are like-minded and genuinely wish to make the world a better place. And that is what I'm here to do. All right. My existence is not only for me on this earth. My existence needs to benefit other people to give life meaning. So I'm bullish on humanity, and I think that we can get over whatever Facebook, the CIA, the NSA, the governments, Russia, the EU, the European Union, Illuminati lizard lords. I think that we're able to overcome everything. As soon as you accept that we are powerless, and it absolutely just depends on what these evil, malicious entities decide to do, you have given up hope on humanity, right? You have to have faith. You have to have faith that humanity is going to be able to rally to defeat these evils, because over time we generally do. Human beings, although small and fragile and generally ignorant and prone to failure on individual cases, everybody is flawed. In totality, humanity continues to push forward and develop into a better species. I think over time, I really think we do. And, we have our individual particular setbacks. Evil forces, Justin, evil forces, and lizards. Trump's a lizard. Moving on. So a brief divergence here. So for a professional trader, it is absolutely essential that I have full control over all of my positions. Now, platforms like Coinbase Pro, Binance, and Bittrex, while great in their own rights, they do lack essential features for any serious trader. Now, whether it's setting a take profit and stop loss simultaneously, or setting a trailing stop loss, or automating trading view alerts to maximize our returns in the market and simplify our trading, we just need better tools. The platform that I choose for accessing these essential tools is 3 Commas. 3 Commas is the industry leader for providing cryptocurrency traders access to these much needed tools. If you would like to try out 3 Commas, I highly recommend it. Our link will provide you not only with a free trial, but a 10% discount off of your purchase price. Head on over to 3commas.crackingcryptocurrency.com to take advantage of that. That's 3commas.crackingcryptocurrency.com. Yeah. Let's go long on humanity, guys. Get your entries in. Maybe, but you might want to set a limit order. You might want to set a limit order on humanity, like down around like maybe 2025. Like, let the, see what happens if the Democrats get elected back to office. Moving on. We try to remain politically agnostic on the show, but it's so difficult sometimes. Okay, so let's get into our user-submitted requests and natural chat engagement, guys. We'll be doing this for the next 20 minutes while we wrap up the show. We'll be looking at your requests, and we will be engaging. So if you guys got any questions, comments, concerns, sarcastic remarks, and or death threats, and you want to leave them in the chat and not in the comment section, now is your time. So we're going to look at ZEC-USD from Wayne Art, and thank you so much, my good friend. And we're over here on the Bitfinex chart, looking over at Zcash. Now, Zcash closed above the baseline after wicking significantly lower on the close of yesterday's candle, and as with the rest of the market, having a nice little appreciation. Now, most of the can a Canadian trade at 3 Commas? Yeah, of course, dude. You can use Canadian. You can use 3 Commas on anything you want, brother. MATIC USDT from Artilla. Now, I think that this is, again, a reactionary movement, but we do have to evaluate ZEC-USD similar to everything else. Now, we would have gotten a continuation long signal on the close of this candle, and then we would have had a pullback to the baseline, and now we are back at our break-even price. So I still think that this trade stands on its own merits. I still think that ZEC-USD is bullish. I would be in this for the long haul. I don't trade on Bitfinex, so this is not a position that I would take. I would be looking at the ZEC-USDT market. That's not actually a position that I'm in. But I digress. The point is exactly the same. Continuation long signal generated here. If you took the trade here or anywhere during this pullback, you would have done quite well. If you are using the stop loss timeout feature that 3 Commas provides you, again, I don't think that you can trade on Bitfinex with 3 Commas. But again, the other thing that you can do is instead of setting a hard stop loss, you can set alerts, because that is also frequent to do as well. And you'd still be in this trade. And in fact, it's kind of unclear. Well, let's just figure out. Would it have hit your hard stop loss? In fact, this trade, would have hit your hard stop loss, but I don't think it remained under there for very long. So again, it just depends on how you're trading. Some guys are using absolute hard stop losses, and some guys are using, I always use the stop loss timeout feature on 3 commas, so shit like this doesn't happen to me. So literally price has to be below my stop loss for 1 to 5 minutes before my stop loss order to execute. And if it doesn't, if it just wicks down right back up, my order doesn't get filled. Hey, thank you so much, Crypto Beginner. I highly appreciate that, man. My take on Link BTC. I've been long on Link BTC since last night. In fact, we just hit Take Profit 1 live during the show. So my stop loss is now at break even, and I am looking forward to further take profits being hit or price coming back down and hitting my stop loss. My wife doesn't believe in me. Do you show proof of trades in the premium group? Yeah, I do. In fact, you can go see all our results at currentresults.krakencryptocurrency.com or historical results at results.krakencryptocurrency.com. More than showing proof of trades, I also teach you how the strategy works. You know what I mean? So it's not about trusting my word. I'm not a subjective trader, man. Like, I literally show you how to put on the positions yourself and exactly how the strategy works. So generally for most guys in the group, the premium signals channel, like when I put on a position, they're already like, yeah, we know, because we have the same tools that you use. We saw it. And it's just good. I really like the way that our group works, man. How about that? Raven USDM? You mean USDT? I got you, brother. Setting a stank bet on humanity. Thank you, Jared Nyman. Highly appreciate it, man. Let's see here. What was I going to say? Oh, Zek. So yeah, I think this is a good long, man. I think this is a good long. I think the volume's decent. We've had a little bit of consolidation. Now, again, just because I'm saying that doesn't mean that the trade has any other probability of success or failure. But just from a technical standpoint, it does look good. This is a trade that I would have confidence to still be in a long position and still be looking for my take profit targets. Those take profit targets would be for me 127.77, 129.49, and 138.20. So best of luck to you, man. Thank you so much. Yang Enterprises Incorporated, good afternoon to you, sir. Hopefully you're doing really, really well, man. So why sell people a course and indicators if I'm already a successful trader? So back in 2018, I saw a lot of people that were really close to me become very fabulously wealthy on paper and then become fairly poor on paper. And I also saw that this is a space that I love. And it is my firm belief that one of the best ways to get people involved in cryptocurrency is to give them financial incentive. And trading cryptocurrency currently is one of the best ways that somebody who has less than $50,000 in net worth, if they come into the space with a decent amount of capital and strong strategic rules, can actually make a living in this space. Therefore, we have invested individuals to support this space and clean up this space. 90 to 95% of every single group, trader, or influencer in this space is a scammer. I am not. So I genuinely love Bitcoin. I genuinely believe very strongly and fundamentally in what Bitcoin can do insofar as making the world a better place for my children and my children's children. And so it is, again, I said it earlier, I'm not only in this world to benefit myself, I am in this world to benefit other people as well. So that is exactly what I try to do in the premium trading group. If you join the premium trading group and you lose more money than you make, then it's not for you. I don't know if that's whether it's just not congruent with your mentality or with your strategy, or whether you're not listening, or if it's just not working out for you. But our retention rate is extremely high, and that is because most people join the group and they make more money. And it is good information, and that is why it is worth paying for. And I'm not going to, although I'm here to help the world out, I also have to pay a lot of people to produce the content. This show has a producer, all right? People design our graphics. People design our thumbnails. People help us out with social media. I have people that help us out with customer service. I have analysts that help provide signals, mentoring, and education. I have to pay all those people. So it's actually the reason why I work 12 to 14 hours a day is to create a community for individuals to come to and receive good information and learn how to do what they do. And that costs money. But it is my genuine hope that what I am doing is making the space better and is helping improve the lives of individuals. And I do firmly believe that's what I'm doing. And I'm going to continue to do that as long as I have the ability to do it. But yes, the majority of my personal income, almost all of my personal income, comes from my personal trading activities. Source of the 24K whale move, that would be market orders. Yes, market orders on the exchanges. It is a red button that you press and then things go down. How much profit monthly would I make if I trade only on Binance and BitMEX and spend about 2 hours a day? I don't know. I trade for about an hour a day. May I returned 46.6% of my total equity. More actually this month because of moving back into Bitcoin. Back when Bitcoin crossed back above the baseline on the 12th. Yeah, the 12th. It was my daughter's birthday. And so looking at overall about another 40 to 50% return on my equity. I have to wait until the end of the month to close everything out and calculate, especially with the Bitcoin position. And then that's actually a variable that I have to carry over to next month, assuming that I haven't sold out of Bitcoin yet. But it all depends, man. The percentages matter, and it depends on how much work and how much time and how much effort. I mean, there are guys in the group that come in with $1,000 and they make $500 a month. It's probably a little too risky. It's very difficult to determine what percentages you can make. Again, you're going to determine that for yourself. You're going to learn how to run statistical analysis and how to keep journals, how to keep spreadsheets, and how to project all your information out. So the best I can't provide a cookie cutter answer for you. I can't provide a cookie cutter answer for you. What I can say is that in the group, you would learn how to find those answers for yourself in a very systemic, verifiable, non-bullshit way. Any thoughts on that market cipher indicator? It's too expensive for me. I don't know anything about it, man. Does 3 commas have trading fees per trade? Only if you don't buy a subscription. Thanks. Hey, good to see you, Paul. Crypto beginner, all the information's at the link, premium.krakencryptocurrency.com. I need a knighthood. I try, man. I'm a follower of Bitcoin and a believer, yet I trade on BitMEX and futures. I also trade on ByBit in futures and Binance. Futures is a financial structure. Yeah, sure. And you don't think that the future of decentralized cryptocurrency is going to have a financial structure? Again, 2 things can be true at once. I believe in Bitcoin, yet my income comes from trading Bitcoin. And soon to be Forex. But I digress on that. So ZEC USD, we're also going to look at Litecoin for MTCoiner, man. Sorry you had to wait a while. LTC, we'll look at USDT and then we'll look at BTC as well. So Litecoin to the dollar is very bearish in my estimation. We are getting a bounce. We are getting a bounce off the secondary baseline, but I don't see a signal to do anything yet. We would have gotten a short signal actually here on the close of this candle if we could have gone short on LTC USD right here, waiting for that to be added to ByBit. Short signal generated right here where we are already short by Minx, and then we close below the baseline and Wadatar confirms. Volume has been quite high. We had a massive sell-off in Litecoin. And although our 13 exponential moving average is above our 55, i.e. we are still in an overall bullish trend, the trend has not shifted yet. Again, I think that after a move to the downside, we're going to see more consolidation than we see something actually running. So I wouldn't do anything on the dollar pair with Litecoin right now. I wouldn't be holding Litecoin right now. And if we go over to the LTC BTC pair, except for somewhat of a movement off the bottom, which I would expect to see after a significant movement to the downside, again, more consolidation. We do have the 1355 exponential moving average crossover in Litecoin, i.e. we have entered into an overall bearish trend. Litecoin is in a bearish trend right now, man. So I would not be doing anything with Litecoin except shorting it. What the fact says, I deposited 1.3 Ethereum and now I'm left with 0.3. Any chance that I can recover that loss? So yes, if you trade right. So I'll give you an anecdotal report, okay? So I did a favor for a family member, okay? And this is not going to be impressive in dollar terms, but I think it is going to be impressive with statistics. or for percentages. So I have a family member who signed up for an automated bot service, okay? So he was trading on BitMEX, and this bot would automatically just trade for him, right? It was like, like $100 a month, and he signed up for the service. It promised, lucrative returns, and he just hooked his API up to it, and the bot just trades for him, right? So he paid for the service, and he deposited $400 onto his BitMEX account. So he had $400 total, right? So this was back in, when did I take over the account? I took over the account at the end of March. So this would have been in February. So from February through, I want to say the middle of March, it blew out his account. He had $60 left when everything was done. Okay. It wasn't Crypto Hopper. It was actually like this service that individuals actually provided, but it's not like they stole his funds, but their bot straight up sucked. Okay. So he had $60 left when the bot was all said and done losing his money. So he called me. We had a conversation. We talk quite frequently. And he asked me if I would take over his account, which I did because I wanted to prove a point. Okay. So I took over his account and I started trading on it at the end of March, more toward the middle of March, but I digress. And that account, as of 3 days ago, hit $400 again. Okay. Now, I want to point out the reality here. Every single trade, when I started off, was put on that exchange using conservative position sizing, using a regular amount of leverage. Leverage, again, does not matter. It only allows you to take on the correct position size pursuant to your account balance. But my whole point is I did everything that you're supposed to do. I pulled out the calculator for every single trade. I calculated based off equity. I calculated based off distance to stop. I traded the daily time frame. I traded for an hour a day. Okay, it was just a regular part of my workflow. So I brought his account back up to $400 in about 3 months, about 4 months. And it took a while. It took a while, but that is nearly a quadrupling of his account balance. And it took about 4 months. And again, that is absolutely possible with patient, slow, conservative, consistent, methodological, strategical placement of trades and discipline. Okay. But it would not have been possible. He would just continue to lose more money if he would have kept with the bot, or he would have tried to do what most people would have done instead of turning their funds over to a professional or asking for advice or seeking a mentor or doing things the right way or making a vow to do things the right way, which is being slow, steady, patient, methodical, strategic, and doing things the right way. So most people, when they lose a lot of money, they end up losing all of their money because now they are panicked and they feel that they have to take on additional risk, or they feel that they have to do something different, which if they lost a lot of money, they definitely need to be doing something different. But they feel like they need to do more. They need to overtrade. They're going to overtrade. They're going to take on additional risk in the panicked rush hurry to make that money back. And that just leads to a downward spiral, and they end up losing all their money and blowing out their account. So, It's just a bad thing that can happen, man. It's a bad thing that can happen. Most people, when they lose a lot of money, descend into a downward spiral where they lose even more money. Leverage literally does not matter. Changed my mind. I'd love to help you out, man. I'd love to help you out. You can find all the information out. Just join our Discord, man. Hang out in there. Even the guys who are not in the premium trading group, they're pretty smart. They're pretty helpful. We've got analysts that can offer advice and mentorship. But again, that's literally what we do in the trading group. We teach you how to build a strategy. We hand you a pre-built strategy. We hand you multiple pre-built strategies, actually. We provide you with the tools and we teach you the rules. And then it's in your hands, man. It's in your hands. And then we're there to kind of, pour hot tar on you if you do something dumb so that you don't do it again. How much leverage do I use on crypto? It doesn't matter, bro. Do I only watch charts whole day or also news? I look at charts for an hour a day. Well, now it's like 4 hours a day because I do the show. But I only trade once a day, man. I trade the daily time frame. I log in, I look at the chart, I wait, and then I trade. And then I walk away. I don't watch charts all day. I don't. Hell no. And yeah, I read news. And no, I will not invest your money, Dad23. But I use cross margin to answer that. Good stuff, crypto beginner. You are doing well, man. Bitcoin trying to break up? Well, I mean, it's doing its thing. 11,927. Okay, let me get to the rest of these requests for MATIC and Raven real quick, and then we got to skedaddle. What? What is going on here, man? Oh, MATIC USDT. I somehow put that /. All right, man. Drunk. It must have been somebody slipped some vodka in my water. In Russia. MATIC doesn't look good, man. Water is nothing but bearish, nothing but consolidation. We did get a nice little bounce off the secondary baseline, but we just need a little bit more time to get bullish. If we go on to the 4 hour, see if we got anything intraday. 4 hour did give us a long signal here, but that was above our qualifying line and set us up for a beautiful trade because you can see we wait for the next close right here. We close above the baseline, right at the baseline. Just a beautiful entry and absolutely nail that 10% trade, man. Absolutely nail that 10% trade. We did just get a continuation long on the close of the last 4 hour candle and something very similar happened. We are consolidating now between the baseline and the secondary baseline. That's often what we see before a breakout to the upside, but still not trades that I take. There is a 4 hour continuation long, and everything is confirming. So just be cautious. Just be cautious and do what you do, man. Make sure that if you're using the 4 hour time frame that you're using 4 hour metrics. But on the daily, we are below the daily baseline. So I would not be taking any long trades based off of that metric. ZAO USD mechanic, you can go back to the commodities Forex section. There'll be timestamps in just a little bit after we publish the video, after we're done here in just a few minutes. And yeah, I do a full analysis of ZAO, ZAG, palladium, platinum every single day, man. All right, and finally, Raven. Same thing, man. Just, altcoins don't super interest me right now. There are a few that do, and that's why I took them. But trades have to, the chart has to be bullish for me to hop in, man. So Raven had a pretty significant sell to the downside. We're about to have, it looks like we're threatening a moving average cross under. Now, usually what will happen is we'll backpedal here a little bit and test. So there might be another 5 to 9% for us to move to the upside. But I think we're going to enter into a little bit of a bearish trend on Raven. This looks like distribution. And look at that volume coming in. Volume comes in at the beginning and at the end of a trend, and at the beginning and at the end of a trend generally. The baseline, Dad. Dad 2-3, it's the baseline, brother. Price is above it, it's bullish. Price is below it, it's bearish. It's that simple. All right, so having said that, I want to thank you guys for joining me for another exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin Market Update. I've been your host, Justin Wise, lead analyst and senior mentor at CrackingCryptocurrency.com. I hope you guys go on to have an absolutely fantastic day. Make sure that you are safe in what you do. If you guys would like to learn how we do what we do, if you guys would like to learn the secrets to our success, you can check out premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com for all the information on our trading group and our community. You will get access to our proprietary indicators, our strategies, our Pathways to Profit coursework, material, and quizzes, our premium webinar series, our educational content, our tools, our spreadsheets, and our rules, as well as professional mentors who can help guide you down this path, in addition to reliable signals and setups from our team of analysts. Again, that's premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com. Now, do you often miss the live show and that really, really frustrates you because you just love this content and you wish you could be around more? You want more Breaking Bitcoin? Well, then I highly recommend you check out the Breaking Bitcoin podcast. Scott has us up. We are no longer in beta rollout. We are in full-fledged Breaking Bitcoin podcast mode. You can catch us on iTunes, Google Play Music, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher, and Spotify. Just search for Breaking Bitcoin on your favorite podcast catcher. You can find all the information, all the links to the podcasts, as well as today's show notes at breakingbitcoin.com. breakingbitcoin.krakencryptocurrency.com. That's breakingbitcoin.krakencryptocurrency.com. If any of you would please go over to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review, I highly appreciate that. That is how you can support us as content creators. All right. That's it for today, guys. Make sure that you trade safely and leave any questions, comments, concerns, sarcastic remarks, and or death threats in the comment section down below, and you will get a chance to get gifted some crypto. Until next time, guys, trade safely, and I'll catch you tomorrow.